Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crime Entertainment. We have here a returning guest to the show, Anthony Arillotta. Anthony, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, my man. How's everything?
Oh, going good, going good. Now, earlier this year, we were trying to get a show off the ground. Me and another guy that I was working with called the Bettor and the Bookmaker, Bettor being the Bettor of someone that likes to place wagers. I know you like to place wagers on games. I do myself. Unfortunately, scheduling conflicts, we kind of had to stop that. But I love talking about sports, and you
Yeah,
love talking about sports. So I figured I would bring you on, and maybe we could run this through college playoffs and then maybe the NFL playoffs and see what we come up with.
sure.
All right.
Let's do it.
So today, you got your two playoff games to decide who's going to play in the national championship. First, we got TCU and Michigan. That's kicking off here in about an hour and a half. So I'm going to post this up really quick.
Yeah.
I think right now the line is 7 or 7.5. Michigan minus 7.5. Who do you like in this game?
So in that game, I like the underdog TCU. I think TCU is going to keep it close. If not, I think maybe even have an outright win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think the under and over, it opened up at around 61.
Yeah.
And it's dropped, I think, to 57, I think, right around there, 57 and a half.
56.5 on the scores app that I'm looking at right now. But those
Right.
all sports books can go anywhere from a point to a point and a half. But I agree with you exactly. I think TCU, especially that quarterback, was a Dugan. I mean, I watched him play in his championship game. Now they come up short, but I mean, he was hurt, banged up in that game, and he was playing his ass off. So I like Dugan to keep it close, like you said, especially depending on people's sports book. If it's at 7, I would buy that hook, give you the 7.5. Take that half a point. A lot of times in these games, that can prove to be very crucial. So if you have the opportunity, I would buy the hook. I agree with you 100% on that. I think TCU at least covers, if not outright wins the game. I think you can kind of tell by the sports attire I'm wearing here who I'm going in my next one here with Georgia and Ohio State.
Right. So just to get back with the TCU game, though, so usually we both liked TCU. So that means when he posts this show that everyone should just run and bet big and on Michigan.
Yeah, that's what the normally does, is go the opposite way with everybody agrees.
I'll be honest, I haven't been able to pick a winner to save my life lately.
Oh, I've left the bowl games alone completely. I'm horrible at it. Until it gets down to these. Now, when it gets down to like your New Year's games and New Year's Day games, I'm pretty decent at picking those. But when you get two teams that, don't typically play each other, it's hard. Now, I did hit the over last night with the Gamecocks and the Irish. I figured that game would be high scoring.
What was the total of that game? Like in the 60s?
Yeah. It was 28 to 30 something.
No, I know the final was
45-38.
45-38, but what was the under and over the total in the game?
I think it was like 54 or 50. No,
50, that's
50.
it?
Yeah, 50, yeah.
The Notre Dame South Carolina game was only 50?
Only 50.
Wow.
And see, South Carolina did have a lot of guys out that game, so I think maybe they were saying that since they were down a lot of fighter power, maybe they would come out and play up to the potential. I don't know.
A lot of guys sit out these bowl games at the end. That's why I like
pros.
Yeah. Who did Washington play the other night? I had Washington. Was it? Yeah, it was Texas.
Yeah.
And I read that Texas was sitting a few of their main players. And the guy for Washington can throw the ball all over the field. And so I liked Washington that game, and they covered. They won. They won the game on the field.
And that's really important when you're somebody that's going to be wagering. You have to look at those types of things. You can't just pick up the phone or the app one day and see the line and make your bet, because a lot of these guys, you got to look at it. These kids know they have a future of possibly getting drafted into the NFL. So we're talking millions of dollars on the line. So not everybody's going to take that chance of, I don't want to say a meaningless bowl game. Bowl games are important in college, but it's not going to make or break. Their body of work is done. Their skills are very much on display from their time in the collegiate level. So you don't want to risk a knee injury or, something that's going to drop him down in the draft, because that's substantial money that these guys risk.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's what happened to one of them Florida State running backs back in the day. I forgot who it was, but he was a star. In the last game of the year, one of these playoff games, he tore his knee. And so that's why a lot of them, they want that money. I don't blame them. They want that money to, when they get that drafted. And but then again, you'll see a guy come in and maybe outperform the guy that they were replacing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You never know that either. You remember back in the day when the Rams were had a quarterback, and he was a good quarterback at the time. I think it was Alex Smith. Or I think it was him. I'm not sure.
He was 49ers. Alex Smith was 49ers, and then Kaepernick.
Right. He was all over. Right. Alex Smith, but then he went to Kansas City, and he was at the, he's been everywhere. He was just, but it was somebody back in the day. I forgot who it was. It wasn't Alex. But remember, he got hurt the first game of the year, and Kurt Warner came in. And look at what happened with Kurt Warner.
Trent Green, that's who it was.
Trent Green, exactly, right. And Kurt Warner became a Hall of Fame Super Bowl quarterback. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He was slinging that thing, man. And he come, for people that don't know his story, he came from the arena leagues where you had to get that ball out quick.
Ball release quick,
and him and Mike Martz, who was their offensive coordinator over there, that was just like a match made in heaven, putting them two together, because Mike loved to throw the ball, Kurt could throw the ball. And that was a fun time to be a football fan watching them. And they called it the greatest show on turf.
The greatest show on turf. They had Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Faulk out of the backfield. They had one other good one.
Ricky Prohl was even with
them. That's it. Ricky Prohl. Yeah. Ricky Prohl. Yeah.
He later went to the Panthers. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I bet that game, and I bet against. So the next game that he played, he started, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I never heard of him. And so I loaded up against him. And, this guy's throwing the ball at 60-yard passes, touchdowns, right on stride, hitting the guy right on stride. I never seen a quarterback like that, that good come out, and he was working for, I don't even think he was playing arena at the time. I think he was done with his career.
Yeah, because I think he came in with Green Bay, got cut, then done arena, and then that was done. And then somehow or another, he got a call, I think, to do the Rams, and he was like third on the depth chart. And then I think they traded somebody.
Well,
so
I think he was packing shelves.
Yeah, he was. He was working. He was working in a grocery store.
Yeah. So, like when you're getting back to that, what you were saying about, okay, the star's not going to play for this college team. But then again, some young, hungry dude is looking to make his shine, come out and make his debut. And you never know. He might be just as good, if not better, than the guy he's replacing. So there's a lot when it comes to that, when the guys are sitting too, because you don't really know what you're going to get. But when there's a lot of them,
and that makes it hairy for a bettor, because I'm really weary of betting on teams if they're facing like a rookie straight off the bench at quarterback, because you think, oh, it's a rookie, they're gonna, but they might come in there and light it up. You never know. Yeah. What do you think here about this Ohio State Georgia game? Me personally, I think Georgia is just going to dog walk Ohio State. I could be wrong. I remember a few years ago when Urban Meyer was still there, they actually put in a fresh quarterback right at the playoffs. Was it Cardell Jones?
For who?
It was Ohio State. Yeah, and they won the whole thing. They beat Oregon and Alabama.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think it was him. It might have been. I think somebody got hurt and he came in that year. Yeah.
I think they had a quarterback, Bryce something. But, I think it was Cardell Jones that come in. But I don't know. I'm just not sold on Ohio State, man. I think Georgia is way too physical. That SEC, I know it's a different breed of football down there. It's hard hitting. It's really close to the pro level as far as the toughness and the sophistication down there. I think personally they're gonna walk Ohio State. What do you think?
Well, as we're saying this, Alabama just scored, so that's another SC team
Yeah.
blowing out
They're
Kansas
blowing them out
State.
bad.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would agree. What I think is going to happen, though, I think it's going to be a little bit. I think Ohio State's going to get some big plays here. They're going to not be able to run the ball, and they're going to be able to get some plays down the field, maybe long touchdown passes. So I like that. I like a high scoring game with
Yeah.
this one. I
Okay.
think Georgia's going to score. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think Ohio State will get some big plays and score, keep it close for a while. But I agree. I think Georgia ends up pulling away and over just too big. And
Yeah, I think right now the line's at like 4.5. So you're thinking Georgia's going to
yeah.
cover that 4.5 points?
Well, that line went down also. That line
Yeah.
opened up, I think, around 7, and last I checked, it was 5.
Mm-hmm.
So the
People
money
are
was
loading
early
up on
money
Ohio State.
on a site. Yep.
Yeah,
And
and that's another thing you have to watch on as a bettor. Watch that line movement. It's going down for a reason. It could be weather. There's all sorts of things that you have to look at when you're looking at these things, especially if you're a guy. I personally don't do a lot of totals unless I see something that really jumps off the page. But that's the thing you have to think about too in the wintertime. The weather, wind, rain, snow, all those kind of things can affect the totals. So it's all stuff you want to take a peek at. As far as I know, nobody major is going to be out for either team. So it should be a good game. I think Ohio State might hang around early, but I think as the game goes on, third quarter, fourth quarter, I think Georgia pulls away. But it would be good to see good games, man, because last year, if you remember both college playoff games, I think it was Georgia and Michigan was a blowout. Alabama and Cincinnati was a blowout. So it really didn't give you any good football to watch. So I'm hoping for a good game, but obviously for my dollars, I'm hoping Georgia pulls away there at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're going to hit. So that's guaranteed. The public has to go and make a big bet now on Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah.
So,
parlay that and then send us a little bit too.
Tease it, parlay it.
And see, that's another one right there. That's what I would do if, probably what I'm going to do here as soon as we get done with this. I'm going to probably tease TCU. If it's 7.5, I'm going to tease them up to 14.5. That way I get 2 scores plus a hook.
Right.
And then I'll probably just bring Georgia down to even or, plus a point or 2. And that way they at least cover by the field goal, field goal in the game. So that's probably what I'll do to hedge the bet a little bit. We didn't discuss this before we got on air of who we like. Well, we both like the same team. So a lot of times that is the case. You might better load up the other way. I don't want to look ahead too far into the NFL, but right now, who would kind of be your picks for possible Super Bowl matchups over there?
I think you have to, everyone, if you asked 100 people, I think everyone's going to come out with 90% are going to come out with the same teams. I think for sure in the NFC, Philly's got to be the, if as long as they're healthy with that quarterback.
Yeah.
They really have a lot of weapons at receivers. Their defense is good. The running backs. So they're a sound team all the way around, But again, anything can happen. Those mobile quarterbacks can get hurt.
Yeah.
You're seeing that with Lamar Jackson always hurt. And but I would have to say Philly's the front runner. I think I'm a Brady guy, so I'm always going to root for Brady. And you can never count him out. Especially he's going to have a home playoff game, his first game, because most likely they're going to win the division. So
if they beat Carolina tomorrow, they'll win the division. There's no way we can win it. Or I say we. I'm from Carolina, so I say we.
Okay,
but, there's no way they can win if they lose tomorrow. Now, if they happen to win tomorrow, that would actually give us both wins in the division over them. So then the week 17 could prove to be crucial there as well. So it'll be an interesting day tomorrow to figure out where he lands. And he's just one of those guys, man. He's not having maybe the best year.
No,
because they struggled the other week against Arizona, but at the end of the day, it's pulling out the win. Exactly. I would rather take a ugly win any day of the week than a loss. I don't care how I can score 60 points, but if you lost, you lost,
Yeah. And that's what he's been doing. You can tell he's probably got a lot of, other things going on.
Oh yeah.
He's really not as, the athleticism is still there. It's just, you could tell he never really made mistakes before. And what I think it is with him is Brady always had a slot guy like Welker,
Yep.
Edelman, and he always got rid of the ball quick. And for some
right
reason, they're going away from that. Like that Godwin is a good one of those slot guys. You know who even that kid Miller?
Yeah,
He
Scotty
reminds
Miller.
me of he reminds me of an Edelman and Welker. So, I think if he got back into that, and Brady usually figures it out as the season goes on. I think this year it's going to take a little bit longer. It's taken longer. It's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And but if he does figure it out, the team has talent, and he is who he is. So you can't count him out. I mean, I want to put it. I'm just a Brady fan. That's why I'm saying all that. But in the AFC, I think it's between Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Kansas City. I think Kansas City is the leading as far as who's going to get there, but you can't. Cincinnati has their number.
Mm-hmm.
They've beaten them the last 3 times.
Yep.
They're a talented team, great quarterback, well coached, good field goal kicker, everything. And Buffalo. So, I think whoever has to play each other is a big thing with that. Like say Kansas City ends up having to face Buffalo and Cincinnati, because whoever has to face each other is going to have 2 tough games.
Right. Yeah. Whoever gets the lesser opponent will get a little bit easier of a road. Yeah, I agree with that too. And I mean, as dominant as Buffalo has been throughout the year, you have some games where Josh Allen just struggles, and he's got so much talent and so much potential. It's like he's trying too hard. I remember I lost a ton when he was when he played the Jets that first time, and they lost. They lost that game. And there's no way you line that game up 100 times, Bills win 99 out of 100. But that was that one where he just kept making simple mistakes, not even under pressure, just bad throws in the coverage.
They were saying something was wrong with his arm then.
Yeah, was it?
Because he was missing wide open guys. I remember even like a few weeks it was going on. He was overthrowing the ball. And don't forget he's another mobile runner, and he doesn't like to slide. I mean, he likes to run over guys.
I don't even know if I consider him mobile. He's like a damn truck just going down. He don't, like you said, he don't slide. He don't go out of bounds. He reminds me of like a Cam Newton. Like when he was just in the league, he would find guys and just go head up with them. And I don't really, as a GM or a coach, I'm not very happy about that. If that's my franchise quarterback out there going head up with linebackers and safeties. But that's the way he is. That's the way he plays. And you appreciate that as a fan. I think those are probably the 3 front runners as well. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan, man. I love Joe Burrow. I wanted him to win that Super Bowl last year. Really bad. And I wasn't upset that Matt Stafford got one. He suffered for years down there in Detroit. So it was kind of a win-win for me either way. I was glad it was 2 different teams. And, I think Joe will be back at some point. I don't know if it's this year, but like they got Kansas City's number for some reason, man. They just know how to handle that team. This week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is Cincinnati and Buffalo plays each other. I think it's tomorrow.
Cincinnati, are they?
Let me check here real quick. I'm pretty sure it is. I seen that yesterday. I was like, wow, that could be an interesting preview. Okay, Monday night, Buffalo and Cincinnati.
Wow.
And Buffalo right now is favored by 1.5, and they're the visitors.
So they're in. See, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Why are they a 1.5 point favorite in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
the public, I mean, when it comes, I think that statement game at the beginning of the year, they come out, they put up so many points. Everybody was high on them, but you got to look, they've lost, they lost Von Miller. He's not going to be back. So they've lost a lot of stuff along the way, but that'll be an interesting game. I'm glad we brought this up because that'll be a really good game to watch because that could very well be a playoff preview, AFC preview. Yeah. So I agree with you on those. I think whoever doesn't have to play one of them 3, whoever gets more of a lesser ranked team, I think they're going to have the edge to go. When it comes to the NFC side, I do think Philly right now would probably be the front runner, provided Jalen Hurts comes back. Minshew didn't do bad the other night versus the Cowboys, but it's still not, the chemistry's got to be built there. You go all year with one guy, it's hard to switch it. A dark horse of mine, because these guys are another team that just figures out a way to win, is Minnesota. I mean, I don't know if you watched that game a couple weeks ago when they come back from 34 points down, or 33, whatever it was. That was, I'd never seen anything like that in my life. I had a Justin Jefferson on my fantasy team, and I think I was somewhere eating, and I seen they were down, 33-3 or 34-3, whatever it was. And then my phone kept going off, Jefferson touchdown. And then I was like, all right, 21, 28. I was like, holy God, these guys are going to come back. And they did. And it's hard to control a team like that, man. They have luck on their side. They won, I don't know how many games this year by last second field goals.
Yeah.
And, that's when teams have that in their pocket, it's hard to go against. So I like Minnesota to sneak in there and make a little noise. But other than that, I'm not too overly blown away by a lot of the teams in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, you can't count. Dallas is capable. San Francisco, if they're they're a very capable team. Good defense, good all around team.
Well, that's another one too. You got a quarterback situation up there, Brock Purdy, but I mean, he's played well since he's come in. So you would think, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was the last quarterback picked in the draft. So Mr. Irrelevant is what they call the last pick. And, he's been doing good, but I always tell people, playoff football is different than regular season football. There's that mindset of there is no more next week. It's next season at that point. So a different mentality comes. There's a lot more strategy, I'm pretty sure, put into place. So that'll be interesting to see, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think they have that division locked up, the 49ers, or either it's real close.
Yeah, they got it. They pretty much got it locked up.
Yeah. So when
Seattle was giving them a little, but they're not gonna, they're not gonna do it. And San Francisco, you got pretty much over there. You're gonna maybe have Tampa in that division, Dallas and Philly in that one. Green Bay, can you really count Green Bay out? You know what I'm saying? With Rodgers.
But, Rodgers is definitely not the Rodgers of old, for sure. But Minnesota's going to win that division. I think they have that locked up.
Yep. And if Green Bay can even sneak in, you know what I mean? They're a long shot,
Yeah, that's what I was sitting there looking at here. Dallas is definitely going to have one of the playoff spots locked up.
Dallas and Philly are in. San Francisco, Minnesota are in.
Yep. Tampa Bay or Carolina or Saints, one of them the next 2 weeks.
Right. So that's 5.
Yeah, you got the Giants are sitting at 8-6 now.
Giants,
so Washington above Green Bay. Even Detroit's sitting at 7-8.
Detroit, yep. Detroit's and they lost last week.
Yeah.
Carolina beat them, right?
Yeah. Yep. Carolina beat them. Yeah. Christmas.
Yeah. So that was a big game, and they were on a roll too. They were playing great, Detroit, and so, if Green Bay sneaks in, you never know. I mean, with Rodgers, he gets hot in the playoffs. Brady, you can't count him out. There's a lot of injuries too that you could go by. Like you said, Josh Allen, he in first quarter, he could get hit and be taken out of the game, and they're done.
Yeah.
They don't have a team that could, survive that.
No. And that's the key, especially when, like you said, you have these mobile quarterbacks, and you look at I would say Joe Burrow's probably the least mobile, but he still does like to run too. So anytime you have those quarterbacks, he does. Anytime you have those quarterbacks, man, that's always a risk. Because I think it was, I don't remember who it was a couple of years ago that their quarterback went down, and it was a real tight game in the playoffs. They had the backup quarterback in there. It was a kid from Michigan. It escapes me right now, but I want to say it was Kansas City. I want to say Mahomes went out at the end of the game.
Oh, wow. And against Cleveland. And the kid came in and ended up winning that game for them.
Yeah, he had to come in. He done a crucial, it was like 3rd and 9.
Yeah, fourth. They went for it.
Yeah.
Yep. Andy Reid, they went for it on a 4th down play. They thought he was nuts for going for it. They didn't think he was going to hike it. They thought he was just trying to draw him offside. And they got the first down to ice the game.
Yeah. I can't remember that kid's
Who
name.
the hell was that?
He's from Michigan. He was a quarterback from Michigan. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's going to drive me crazy if I don't know.
I know. Oh, man. What the hell was his name?
Chad Henne.
Yeah. Yep.
Chad Henne.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was a Chad, but I couldn't remember his last name, Chad Henne.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, this will be a good football season, man. So we'll take, obviously, like I said, we're agreeing on our picks today. Take TCU in the points. Take, lay the points with the Bulldogs. So take with that what you will. I think we'll probably circle back before a national championship. We'll give our picks on that, and then we'll probably run through the playoffs each week. Get together, do a little short thing, and do our picks for the playoffs and see if we can make some money to round up this football season.
Well, just to tell you what I'm going to do, Wade, is I'm going to leave my house right now. I'm going to shoot to the casino, and I'm going to load up on Michigan and Ohio State.
I've had, my dad's told me that before. He said, I had a week of just bad luck. He said, everything I bet was just bad. And he said it was a Sunday. I was trying to, get back. And he's like, right before I hit send, he sent the guys play. He flipped every single one of them.
Yeah.
And he said, if I'd have just sent it, I'd have won good. But he said, when I flipped them, I still lost every damn thing. So it's like, you never can tell. You can't ride with those trends. So, but.
Well, you can't. I try to make mind bets. I win my mind bets, and then when I go and actually bet the games, I can, and it's always like, I have a lot of luck in other things in my life. Gambling is just not one.
Yeah.
It's just like I have, God just does not want to see me. He allows me to make money elsewhere, but that easy money betting on a game, he does not want me to win.
And I think I've told this on a podcast before. I think I was talking to Robert Fanaro, who was on The Sopranos. I think it's just something about being able to collect that money at the end of the week that you didn't work for, that you just thought, and you get that envelope, and it just releases that dopamine and that feeling of euphoria that you get that. But at the same time, having to give that envelope's a not very good feeling.
Oh my God. It's the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. I mean, it's such a great feeling winning. Yeah. And, but losing, it's, such a disgusting, it puts me in a miserable mood. I get vicious, it can get you in trouble. And
did you ever see The Color of Money?
I think I
shooting movie.
What was it?
It's pool shooting. It's got Paul Newman.
Yeah, was that Paul Newman? Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Newman and Tom Cruise. At the end of it, he tells him, he's like, money won is twice as sweet as money earned. And I think that's the truth. I feel that way.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, Anthony, I've enjoyed this, my friend. Hopefully people either take our advice or go against it 100%, and we'll see who comes out with some money, man. And we'll check back in when it gets closer to one of the next playoff games.
And I will say this, if we do have two losers, right? Yeah. What we'll do is we'll do the show. We'll do a show off of that. So the theme will be whatever we like. If it's a split pick, you don't bet the game. Yeah. But if we both like the same team, that means go the other way. All
right, my friend. Well, it's been a good talk. I'll see you soon.
Great talking to you,
good New Year's, my friend.
Yeah, you too. Happy New Year. Great talking to you, and good luck with the games.
All right. Thank you, sir. I am Hollywood Wade. That was Anthony Arillotta, and hopefully everybody wins some money this New Year's, and Happy New Year's, everybody out there. See you later. See you, Anthony.
All right. Take care, Wade.